Hello, everyone. And after 18 weeks, we are now 1 month away from the NFL Super Bowl, one of my favorite times of the year. And my boys, the Kansas City Chiefs, are looking to three-peat. It's been a tough year, but we've got it done and gotten into this position of the number one seed. The number one seed in the NFC ended up being the Detroit Lions. Wasn't even close in the end against the Minnesota Vikings. Are the Vikings dead and buried, or can they bounce back? That's what we're going to be speaking about in this video. The full NFL playoff predictions for the game. So in the AFC, the 7 seed Broncos, they beat the Chiefs 38-0, which stopped the Dolphins or Bengals from going to the playoff. The Dolphins lost, so they wouldn't have made it. The Bengals would have with the Broncos loss. Taking on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, arguably the MVP of the season, Josh Allen. And look, a great season from the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix really impressed. Courtland Sutton had a great year, but I just can't see Buffalo losing at home. I know they do love a playoff sort of choke. It's an ongoing joke. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but I think that the Bills would win that one. Next up is the 6 seed Pittsburgh Steelers versus number 3 Baltimore Ravens. Now, the AFC North was literally the Steelers to lose just weeks ago, and that's what they did. They lost it. The Ravens have been red hot, and I'm surprised they didn't finish higher. A couple of losses throughout the season obviously cost them some seeding, but they've had a really good year, and they have a nice team dynamic, and I think they should win this game quite well, even though it's a rivalry divisional game. It's in the playoffs. I just don't see the Steelers coming close to the Baltimore Ravens and how hot they are right now. I think their combinations as well, the Lamar to Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, he's just finding anyone, and they've got that lethal run game with Derrick Henry as well. This is a tough one. You've got the 5th seed Chargers versus the 4th seed Houston Texans at Houston. I have gone the home teams so far, and for this game, I went to LA to watch the Chargers take on the Ravens. They lost in a tight one. The Chargers defense is very, very good, and it has been very, very good this year. They blow out the Raiders last week. I was expecting them to win, but closer. But they're just proving to me more and more that they're a team that can be hard to deal with. The Texans, CJ Stroud's had a really off year, but they've had injuries and things as well, which is sort of thrown a spanner in the mix. But I'm going to go the Chargers here. I think the Chargers advanced to the divisional playoff. I think the coaching of Jim Harbaugh has been fantastic this year. Lad McConkey, the rookie's been good, and I see them facing the Chiefs. In the NFC, you've got the 7 seed Green Bay Packers versus the 2nd seed Eagles. Now, the Packers look like a very dangerous team 3 weeks ago. In the last 2 weeks, though, they've lost to the Bears and they lost to, I forget their other opponent, but they've lost their last 2 games. Now they have injury concerns throughout the team. Jalen Hurts is looking to play. It has not been confirmed. In Philly, this defense should take care of Green Bay. Even if Jalen Hurts doesn't play, I'm taking the Eagles there to advance to the divisional round. Next up, it's the 6th seed Washington Commanders taking on the 3rd seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this game is in Tampa, and Tampa struggled against New Orleans. New Orleans wanted that victory after everything that happened in that city. They wanted to take it home, and I think they can be proud of that performance. Can Tampa be proud of that performance? Well, Mike Evans went over the 1,000 yards for the season, but they definitely shown signs of weakness. And the Washington Commanders, they weren't great against the Dallas Cowboys. Jaden Daniels has been fantastic this year, and they have a very solid team. How far can they go into the playoffs? Are they a week 1 exit team? I feel like right now the Bucs look like the better team. They are at home, but I think the Commanders will find a way to get this done. We saw their Hail Mary against the Chicago Bears. We've seen them find ways to win against the Philadelphia Eagles as well just a couple of weeks ago. I think the Commanders win on the road and end Tampa Bay's fantastic season. Big surprise from Tampa Bay. Next up is the 5th seed Minnesota Vikings versus the 4th seed LA Rams. This is such a tough game to pick. You've got fantastic wide receivers in Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson over at the Vikings. You've got Sam Darnold in his first playoff game in a while, struggles under that pressure. And then you've got the LA Rams, and, Matthew Stafford's balling, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are balling, and Kyron Williams has had a year. So the run game is going to be tough to stop for Minnesota. They have a good defense. They've shown they're a good all-around team. It's crazy because they're going to finish 14-3 and potentially go out in week 1. They go on the road to LA. I don't know who to pick for this game. I'm going to go with my gut, though. I think Kyron Williams is going to be damaging in this game and end Minnesota's fantastic season, but I think they do bow out in the wild card round. Next up, it is the Chargers taking on the Chiefs, the 5th seed versus the number 1 seed. And by the time this game comes around, the Chiefs wouldn't have played in like 2-3 weeks. So because of the rest, because of the bye, the momentum is with the Chargers, isn't it? And this game would go down to the wire, but I think the experience of the Chiefs would get them into the AFC Championship game. I think a great year from the Chargers, and they'd love to beat the Chiefs in an AFC West battle there, but I think the Chiefs win. Next up, it is the 3 seed Baltimore Ravens versus the 2 seed Buffalo Bills. This will be a great game. Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen, the 2 MVP front runners here. And I think that the Ravens have a fantastic offense. As I mentioned, they have connected a lot this season. Josh Allen, the offense of the run game is absolutely fantastic with Josh Allen himself and James Cook. There's some good combinations there with Dalton Kincaid and players like that. But I think the connections at the Ravens are better. However, you've got the Buffalo Bills at home. Both of these teams love to bow out at this point of the season, but this isn't going to happen because these teams are going to meet up. And who do I think is going to go one step further? I think it's the Buffalo Bills. I know they have leaked a lot of points this season in their game, but they have still played very well. And Josh Allen, I think in the playoffs, he's going to go to another level. We've seen how good he can go this year, and I just feel like this is sort of a Josh Allen year. A great season from Lamar and the Ravens. I know a lot of people are actually picking them to win the Super Bowl. I've got them bowing out in the divisional at Buffalo. Next up, it is the 6th seed Commanders taking on the 1st seed Lions. 2 weeks since the Lions played, David Montgomery is on track to play for this game as well, which would be a massive boost for the Lions. Aiden Hutchinson is rumored to return for the NFC Championship game if they were to make it. The Commanders and the Lions, a battle of the NFC. Jaden Daniels and Jared Goff. I'm taking Jared Goff here. The Lions have been a different beast this season, and I think that they could end the Commanders' season. Next up in the divisional would be the 4 seed LA Rams taking on the number 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles. And I think the Eagles' defense is just too good for LA. I saw this matchup. I went to Rams versus Eagle in this season, and the Rams were blown away by Philadelphia's offense and defense. Their defense was getting better and better at that point, and it's continued to be consistent. I think they eliminate, and this would be in Philadelphia as well. So in the AFC, you've got the 2nd seed Buffalo Bills taking on the 1st seed Kansas City Chiefs. Now, with the Chiefs, if they were playing the Bills or the Ravens in the divisional round, it would scare me a little bit. They do have a lot of experience, and they're back-to-back winners for a reason. That mentality's there, that coaching is there. But it does feel like something is missing within this team, and the offense is not playing as good as it should be. It is the Chiefs' defense that would get them into the Super Bowl if they are to make it. I actually am going to take the Buffalo Bills to eliminate my Kansas City Chiefs. I think they've shown this year that they can beat the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs always win in the playoffs against the Bills, but as I said, something feels different this year at Buffalo, and with Josh Allen at the helm, this team has sort of shocked everyone at just how good they are, and I dead set think they will eliminate the Chiefs, end our run, and go to the Super Bowl to represent the AFC. The only way I can see the Chiefs winning this game is if someone like Travis Kelce has like 80 receiving yards, where honestly, I think Xavier Worthy has had a great season, and DeAndre Hopkins was a nice acquisition, but I just don't see the offense getting through Buffalo enough And I think the Bills are going to score more points because their run game, as good as our defense is, it is going to be hard to stop. Next up, this is going to be an awesome game. I really hope we see this in the NFC Championship. It is the Eagles versus the Lions for the battle to go to the Super Bowl. You've got Saquon Barkley versus Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. You've got Jared Goff versus Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Jared Goff has not been there since the Rams of 2018, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's been a long time coming for the Lions. They secured the number 1 seed for the first time in their career club history, and they're looking to go to the Super Bowl and win their first Super Bowl ever. The Eagles, they have had a fantastic defense, and they can definitely stop the run game of the Lions. Jalen Hurts has shown that he can pass throughout these playoffs, throughout this season. How is he going to go in the playoffs when he's not 100% fully fit, though? He has had some time to rest over this, but I think the Lions find a way to win because I think Jared Goff's passing game is going to be too much. And I know there's games where he can throw 3 or 5 interceptions, but there's also games where he goes off. And this is one of those games where he's going to go off. And we will see a Super Bowl between the Buffalo Bills, number 2 seed of the AFC, versus the number 1 seed in the NFC, Detroit Lions. Josh Allen versus Jared Goff. James Cook running up against David Montgomery at the time, or if it is Jahmyr Gibbs. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You've got Dalton Kincaid, lots of offensive weapons, lots of points in a Super Bowl here. Neither of these teams have ever won the Super Bowl, which makes this so exciting as a matchup. And I've seen this matchup coming for like 6-7 weeks. And I'm looking at the path here, and I think we're heading in this direction. But in the Super Bowl, ultimately, after their fantastic season, both of these teams had a fantastic season, but one team was just a little bit better than the other. I'm taking the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl this season. I think Jared Goff is going to lead this team to a massive victory, lead this city out of the suffering, and the Detroit Lions will just beat the Buffalo Bills in a very, very exciting Super Bowl. So that wraps up. The Detroit Lions are the winners. These are my picks for the playoffs. I've obviously put out a separate video each week for the tipping, which you've now seen. There are some 50-50 games, just like these two in the NFC. But all in all, I think it will be the Bills and the Lions. I'd love to see my Chiefs versus the Lions, but I just don't think it is our year. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know your predictions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys later.